Hi, I'm Virginia Keithley, and I'm the director of the TRiO program here at Thomas Nelson Community College. And most of my students affectionately call me Virginia from Virginia, so it's okay if you do that as well. I'm located right outside Gators Cafeteria in Griffin Hall, room 222, and my contact number is 825-3596. Now, I do something a little bit different than most presenters do when they're talking about their program or why they're presenting for your class. I like to tell a little story about me and my life and how it actually connects or relates to a program like TRiO. So why don't we just kind of start at the beginning, and hopefully we'll end up with a story that you can relate not only to your academic career, but also just to your entire life. Back in 1970, I graduated from Bethel High School right down the street. I was madly in love with this young man, and he and I dated all through high school, but guess what? We really were not good students. We were average. And because of that, we really were not on what they call the college track, if you know what I mean. So the counselors really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to us. So we made it through, and on our own, we decided to take our SATs, which, by the way, were abysmal. They were horrible. But guess what? Old Dominion University decided to take us. The only reason why we really wanted to go to Old Dominion was so we could live in the dorms, be away from our parents, and be together. That was the bottom line. Well, the very first day that we were over at Old Dominion, you have to attend an orientation session similar to what they have here, except they herd you in like cattle. It's hundreds of students. So you get in the line and you walk up, and I like to call her the curriculum Nazi. She kind of yells out, "What's your major?" And you tell her what your major is. Well, I have to be honest with you, I hadn't really thought about what my major was because no one in high school talked to me, and I really hadn't talked to anyone at Old Dominion. So the girl in front of me, as I was in line, when she was asked, "What's your major?" she said, "Special education." Well, guess what I said when it was my turn? Special education. My boyfriend was in another line. When it was his turn, he said physical education, simply because he'd been a good athlete in high school and he thought, well, I can't go wrong with that. Well, long story short, we got into classes that first week, and I found out real quick that I did not want to do special education. And he found out real quick when he was in the gym, hanging on those rings at 250 pounds, 6 foot, he decided that really wasn't the thing for him either. So, first couple of weeks, we attended classes, but then we discovered the foosball machine that was in the bottom floor of the dorm. So we like to say, he majored in foosball that first semester, and I majored in hanging out with him. End of the semester, he flunked out totally. Straight F's. I almost got straight F's, but not quite. So over that Christmas break, he asked me to marry him the following May. I accepted. He went to work in the shipyard. I went back to school at Old Dominion, but now I was living at home, planning a wedding. Well, May comes, and I actually had not made that bad of grades. However, the day of my wedding and the week after was when final exams started. Did I bother to tell any of my instructors that I was getting married? No. So I get my report card. What do I have? Straight F's. So now we were both out of Old Dominion University. Okay, let's fast forward 11 years. I am the custodian, the lunch lady, and the bus driver for a private school in the area. I'm down on my hands and knees, and I'm scrubbing up some other person's child's throw up. And I decided that moment, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. It was like an epiphany, a light bulb moment. So I went home and I talked to my husband and I said, will you support me in my endeavor to go back to school, go back to college? And he said, absolutely. So that following fall, I get accepted at Christopher Newport. And this time, I major in business administration. Not because I met with a counselor and got sage advice, but because my father told me to major in business. Well, I go through my 3.5 years at Christopher Newport, and I did quite well. But I get to that last semester, I'm in a marketing class, and I actually break out in a cold sweat because it dawns on me, this is not me. This is not what I want to do. I'm not a bottom line business person. I'm not an accountant, but it's kind of too late because I've gotten to my last semester. I do graduate, and I can't find a job because no one bothered to tell me that it was Reaganomic years and people who had business degrees ended up selling shoes at the local mall. So, I guess there was just something about my personality that Christopher Newport did hire me to work with student groups, and I absolutely loved it. I hadn't been doing it very long, and I sure didn't make much money at it, when the director of the counseling center came to see me one day because his office was right next door and he goes, Virginia, he said, I really think that there are some tests that I can give you, some assessments that are going to help you understand what it is you're supposed to be doing in life. Why don't you come on over, make an appointment, and take those tests? I did, and one of them is called the Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator, the MBTI. I took that test, and I can actually tell you it changed my life. It indicated that I should be in counseling and education, not special education, human services, those types of career fields. So I said, well, great. What am I going to do now? I have no money. I've gotten this bachelor's degree. I've really messed up. He said, no, you haven't. He said, I want you to apply to the College of William and Mary and get a master's degree in student personnel counseling. Well, I laughed in the man's face. I said, first of all, I don't have the money, and second of all, I'm not smart enough to get into William and Mary. He said, first of all, you get student loans, and second of all, you are smart enough, you just need to have confidence in your ability. So this man not only gave me those assessments for free and helped me get on the right path, he also began to work with me on how to get into the College of William and Mary. My packet, the graduate exam, all of that. Those are the types of things that we help you with in the TRiO program, and we give you that Myers-Briggs personality test. We also help you with the transfer process. So I get in, I successfully complete my master's degree in counseling, and I actually went on and got an advanced degree in counseling. My first job out of the College of William and Mary, my first professional job, was in a TRiO program at another community college, and I've never looked back. I absolutely love what I do. It's my passion. What about that guy that I married? Well, I'm still married to him. But back in the early 90s, the shipyard had a major layoff. And even though he was an apprentice school graduate, he never really had official college. He just had his high school degree. So he got laid off. He actually went to Tidewater Community College and joined a TRiO program before I had ever heard of TRiO. I was still in graduate school. They gave him the Myers-Briggs test, and it showed up that he should be in the medical profession. Very, very different from shipbuilding. So he majors in science. He gets his RN degree at Tidewater and graduates top of his class. He goes on to VCU, and they kind of like had a weekend online program. He completed his bachelor's degree in nursing, got his BSN, and then eventually went on and got his master's in health administration from VCU. very happy man. He loves what he does. He has a passion for it. Now, we're in debt with student loans, but we're happy with what we do. So, why have I told you the Keithley story? There's two major reasons. First of all, if my husband and I would have had the kind of support in the very beginning, and if we had have gone and asked for that support, I'm sure that Old Dominion would have given it to us, but we didn't know to ask for it. We didn't know where to go. I'm telling you that TRiO is the safe place to go at Thomas Nelson. You come to our office, you tell us your life plans, your goals, the issues that you're having. We give you these assessments and we work with you. The other thing is time. The average freshman changes their mind 6 times before they decide on their major. In this global society that we're living in, you don't have that kind of time. You need to start out the gate like that, knowing what you want to do. Taking the Myers-Briggs, working with us, we take your passion, we take your gifts and talents, and we match it up with a curriculum in college. The other thing that TRiO does is transfer process can be very intimidating. So we help you, we walk you through that process, how to write that essay, how to put your academic portfolio together. And we actually do an intense academic plan where you know every semester, every single class that you're supposed to take. And it doesn't hurt that TRiO gives supplemental grant aid if you're eligible. And we also do things like going to New York. We're getting ready to go on the Spirit of Norfolk and take a tour of ODU in a couple of weeks. It's a really great program. So this is what I'd like for you to do. First of all, you have to be in a transfer curriculum. But maybe after you've heard my little spiel today, maybe you're thinking, even if you're not in a transfer curriculum, you're thinking, I think I need to be. Then I want you to come by Griffin, room 222, and talk to either me or Joanne Barber, who is our administrative assistant. And Joanne kind of screens you. She asks you other pertinent questions because there are other criteria to get into the program, but I really don't want to go into that right now. I'd rather for you just to remember you have to be in a transfer curriculum and then come to our office and talk to Joanne. So, I hope that my little story has helped you feel like this is a program that I could really be a part of, because our retention rate from fall to fall, we retain 80% of our students, and about 50 to 65% go on to graduate and transfer to a four-year school. So I wish you the very best, and I really hope that you come to see me. Griffin 222, Virginia from Virginia.